with that being said, I mean, one of the first questions we got, or one of the first things we had written down was, how easy is it to date nowadays? You know, and we've got that split into two, you know, sort of how easy is it to date in general, and how easy is it to date for the black man? So we're going to go ahead and explore those little topics right there just to open things up. So what would you say, Dr. D, your estimation, how easy is it to date nowadays?
Well, I'll start with general. Um, I think the modern female, the modern woman has more options now than she's ever had in human history. Now I'm talking hundreds of thousands of years of people being on this earth. And women have more options now than ever. You think they got online dating apps, you got social media, you got the internet, and of course, women are more, you know, high up in the professional world now. So they get hit up in the workplace, at the gym, on the road, on the streets, in the shopping center. They got, and of course, like I just said, they have the internet as well. So they have so many options now. So because women have more options than they've ever had before, there's more competition, right? Every girl can summon 10 dicks to her like that, right? From all different, literally from all different sources. So there's so much competition now. You know, every time you approach a girl, you know you compete with at least 6 or 7 other guys. You know there's 6 or 7 other guys trying to get in there,
That
in her
right.
phone. And you have to compete with them.
But
From that aspect, I think it's more difficult now than it was in our parents and grandparent generation. And of course, the modern female is more liberated now. They're out the house more now than they used to be. So all these things added into the mix. I mean, it's quite difficult for the modern man to be successful in the dating game. But on the other hand, you can look at it like, okay, well, if it's more difficult, then it causes a man to raise his game. You know, in this time, there's no such thing as unconditional love, right? Only God loves us unconditionally, right?
amen,
For a
amen.
woman, yeah. So for a woman to love you, you've got to be bringing something to the table. So men can moan and bitch all day about, oh, it's too competitive. There's too many guys going after every woman. Yeah, there is that. But then that should be a cue for every man to raise his game, get more power, raise
Yep.
his financial game,
Well, I mean,
raise his physical game.
I agree with that, and I think first and foremost that you know
Can
should
I just add? Can I just quickly say,
go for it.
we shouldn't be doing these things to get women. By the way,
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. So
you got to say that. Oh,
I'm gonna let you
okay.
I'm gonna let you finish up though, but that's what I was gonna segue into pretty
Oh, okay.
much.
Yeah. Now, what I was going to say is, men can moan and bitch about how competitive it is, but every man should raise his game. Now, they shouldn't raise their game to get women. They should
Facts
raise their game because you want to be the best version of yourself that you should be.
for
And
yourself because
a byproduct of you being the best version of yourself is you become more attractive to women. You become more selective.
well
And as a
because
result of that, you don't have to compete with all these other guys because they will choose you. They can see your select. They can see your high value. You got your stuff together, your house, your car. You've got a decent job. You know, you've got all your shit together. Basically, you will get selected, so you don't have to compete.
Yep. And I mean, with that being said, another thing that I want to touch on that is because if you ain't necessarily representing your highest value or the highest aspects of yourself, especially as a male, a lot of females can in turn in itself bring you down because they're not actually done, you know, have holding you in a position of the true power that you can actually hold yourself. You're holding yourself back sometimes dealing with certain females because you know, if the only thing that you're getting out of the situation is a bit of action, and you're not progressing forward in other ways in life and stuff that you would want to, then they can be holding you back and stuff like that as well. So sometimes it's important, I think, especially for the guys to put their focus and their best foot forward. I think even for myself personally and a lot of the homies that I know that we, you know, we chop it up and we talk sometimes and kick game and we say, you know what, when we was younger, there wasn't necessarily too many male figures around us, even telling us at certain points, you know, don't waste your time with these birds, or, you know, go out there and focus on this and focus on that. So sometimes I think we easily get led into a, 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 a a cycle of thinking that we gotta go out there and prove something sometimes to these females and say we gotta
Mm,
go find a nice girl and prove something to her and show her that I'm nice and show her that I'm this and show her that I'm that.
mm,
And sometimes I think that could make a guy fall short, whereas to what you're saying, whereas it, you know, it's about empowering yourself, developing, you know, finding the greater
exactly.
aspect of yourself, and
That's
you
the
would then
plot.
manifest more so likely the right woman then as a byproduct of that. Or even if you manifest the
Exactly.
wrong one, you're more equipped to deal with their ass. Should be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think the number one priority for the modern man is to just to be right with himself. And that's all area of his life. Get your finances right, get your mind right, get your body right, get your career right, get your resources right, get every
Yep.
area of your life right, get power in all these different areas, get mental power, get physical power, get financial power, get power in all these areas. And then once you have those areas sorted out, you'll become more attractive, not just to females, but in general. You'll become more attractive in the employment sector. You'll become more attractive to your peers. You'll become more attractive as a man in general, and you'll feel better about yourself. So I think the most important thing for the man to focus on is being the best version of you, putting your best foot forward, and then from there, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, no,
I mean, there's too
definitely.
many guys out there who will moan. I know a lot of guys out there, speaking to them, obviously not now, but a few months ago, and they like to moan and bitch and, oh, this girl didn't choose me, but why should she choose you? Why should she? If if a woman has 5 or 6 options, right? Why is she going to pick you ahead of the other guys if they've got their shit together? If they've
Well,
made the effort
I mean,
to actually better themselves?
I hear that, but to touch on this, there's one thing we definitely got to highlight, because I think one thing in society nowadays, there's so much emphasis on a guy to quote unquote have his shit together. But some of these broads, yeah, they may have a job and they may have a car and stuff like that, and sometimes they may have a place, but some of them, they come with a lot of messy issues, or they
Mm,
messy in their head or messy in their character. So
mm,
it's sort of to what I was just saying a few minutes ago, where I think there's a great emphasis a lot of times that's put on men. Sometimes people say
mm,
chivalry is dead and all that stuff, but there's more of an emphasis that you have to impress females. And then where we flip it back, like you were saying, nowadays,
mm,
where they have so many options, where you know at one time, let's say this, we won't go back to grandparents' ages or different generations and stuff, and let's
mm,
say, women, men both have different natures, different characteristics,
mm,
different energies and stuff. So in some way, you both got to train each other. Now, let's say you may have to do certain things to train your woman the right way. So you might have to give her the not like, I'm proverbially speaking, but let's say you're giving her the proverbial cold shoulder or something.
mm,
And that, in a sense, to teach her something in some form of way. Nowadays, you go ahead and you're gonna be giving her the cold shoulder, and somebody in the inbox, and they sliding in the DMs, and somebody putting all giving them all the likes and the extra
yeah.
validation. So there's a higher emphasis, and we see even nowadays, of a lot of women creeping, a lot of women cheating and all that stuff. Not to say it didn't happen before, because some say,
Mm,
these things have always sort of happened. But I just wanted to touch on that, because I feel sometimes with the guys, there's all this emphasis. Me, I grew up on hip hop, so what was crazy with me is, especially when I was younger, and growing up on tracks like NWA and Ice Cube, a bitch is a bitch and stuff, and not
mm,
to say every female is that way inclined or of character, but
mm,
songs like that really smartened me up as a youngster into I guess the more scandalous aspects of how some females can be as well. And it's not just about always impressing them. Because when we was young, shit, I want to go on a bit, but we used to be in some situations, and what I used to hate when I was around the homies, and like one chick comes around or something, and you see the guys start simping, or you see people start trying to diss each other and turn on each other, act a certain way to try and impress this female. And now
mm,
I was always the dude like, nah, I ain't gonna play that. Sometimes I say too much, and people be like, you messing up the link and shit. But yeah, so I think to each their own. I'm definitely, can be I could switch it on when necessary, and that don't mean like I'm running game, but if it's a respect for a classy woman, and I gotta do respect for classy things, that can be done. But at the same time, I don't think this thing about where all these women are put on this major pedestal, I think a lot of them
mm,
fall short. And where guys have to have their, a certain kind of esteem, or is quote
mm,
unquote shit together in a sense. And I think a lot of
mm.
these women sometimes they don't. So yeah, that was my point.
Yeah, I mean,